So what does it take to restore a historical home? Good question, very good question. It all depends on the state of the home and how much money you want to put into it, how much work you want it to put into it, whether it's worth doing that or not. So especially in Butte, there's a wide variety of everything here. You can buy small and restore it, spend money like that, or you can pay more money for it already pretty much done and in good condition, and then just do the fun part. And the fun part is, in our opinion, John and I love to research, and it's a joy to go somewhere and find the right piece of furniture, or get excited about a lamp or a sofa or a painting or something like that. Some people prefer to buy modern homes and build modern homes, and they don't have, in our opinion, don't have the quality that the older homes have, like the woodwork and the carvings and the structural things and the little details, and like the fireplaces with the neoclassical designs, and on and on and on and on. They're pretty much standard. The new homes are standard, and you can go to a furniture store anywhere and pick out furniture and be very happy with a modern look if that's what you like. But we prefer the old things, and part of the hunt is the fun of it. You are in what's called the President's Room, which originally was a reception room. We call it the President's Room because that picture there that came with the house, the third man in the center is FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and he was with all these guys. So the original owner is Cornelius Con Kelley, and he was the president of Anaconda Minerals. The history of Butte is huge about the minerals and the mining and all that, and he had the Kelley mine and was very active. He was active for the laborers. He lobbied for the laborers and was an attorney for ACM. And then went on. The second owner was Bruce J. Kremer. He was here in 1914 for about 20 years after the Kelleys moved. And he actually was a national Democratic chairman of the United States. So he was the history has lawyers and presidents and anybody at that time was in this house, probably. Republicans, Democrats, they all got along together. And so the history of the house is huge. It's huge. We happened to get this house, the Kelley Mansion, and we were lucky because there was nothing structural that had to be done. It had a 77-page inspection. The wiring is original, kind of scary, knob and tube, but they said it's fine, it's working, don't touch it. The plumbing had been redone. The structure of the house, there was nothing, the basement was done, it was on a good foundation, it was all cosmetic. So when you buy a home like that, you're going to pay more money for it, obviously. Now you can buy a house, especially in Butte, for very, very little money. But you may have to put a new foundation on it. You almost always will have to put a new roof on it. The plumbing and wiring, depending on the inspection, may have to be done. So you're looking at a lot of money to do that. So a very reasonable purchase price, but you're putting your money into the stuff that, in our opinion, isn't very fun. And this is it would be called the Parlor back in the day. The artwork in the house, we try to make period appropriate also. So the artwork is mostly from the turn of the century, 1905, 1906. We have Jean-Baptiste Carpeau, who did sculpturing during 1905 and 1906, turn of the century. The light fixtures in this room, the sconces are original, but the chandelier is not. It's a reproduction. And most of the furniture are either antiques or reproductions of antiques that we just kind of hunted for and found along the way. John, being the historian and architecture, knows everything about that and design and stuff. We both studied that. He says this house was made for a woman. It has a woman's feel, it has a woman's touch, and he points out that the ceiling here around the oculus is actually the women's sign in the cardinal directions. It has a circle with the cross as a woman's sign, and it goes in 4 cardinal directions. So whether that was intentional by the architect is up for question, but he believes it probably was. Now we're in the basement. John and I restored the basement. It was just a concrete, typical dirty old basement before. So we have started to gather articles about the house, the people that were here, the parade of presidents. History was amazing in Butte. Everybody came to Butte. So we're starting to gather letters and information and news articles and things like that to share with everybody. This was one of the rooms that was a disaster. It was just crumbling. It has a foundation, shows the foundation of the house, which is rock and granite mostly. And it was crumbling, the whole thing was crumbling down, and a lot of dust in here. So we don't like wasted space, and we decided to make it a wine room. This is our theater room. Originally, we're not sure what it was used for. There were rumors, and we believe them to be true, that there was a swimming pool in here. Because when we put we had heard, you have a swimming pool in your house, and we go, really? And so when we were doing this room over, the floor is surrounded by concrete, and then it's wood in the middle of it. And John drilled down there to see, and it was filled with dirt and gravel and stuff. But the rumor was, I'm not sure if it's true, that this was originally a swimming pool. We call this the mining room. It was another room that was the coal chute room. So the coal chute is behind this lattice here. And it was again crumbling. This is the foundation of the house. And John and I have collected artifacts and mining things and old doorknobs and all sorts of things that we didn't have a place for. So we decided this would be a good place in honor of the miners to have a little mining room. Just fun, just another thing. This is there's a safe in here that came with the house. I don't know if you can see it. Yep. Okay, that was original to the house. Not sure how it got down here. Maybe it was built, the house was built around it, we're not sure. But it was something that would not go up the stairs, so mystery thing. And behind this wall is a tunnel. It's probably been filled, but it goes from here to the Hennessy house on Excelsior, the house next door. And this supposedly was where they would interact and, party. Who knows what they were doing down there, but that's a tunnel. And as you know, there's 10,000 miles of tunnels in Butte. During the day, they used those for utilities because they didn't have, everything was buried in the tunnels, all the utilities and all that. So 10,000 miles of tunnels running through Butte that are still there. And we have 2 of them, the other one's in the front, but we haven't opened it yet. So we're on the 2nd floor. There are 6 bedrooms in the house, 5.5 bathrooms. At the time the Kelleys were living here, when they built it, they had 5 children. The last of the children were, the child was born in the house, and I'm not sure what year that were. The Kelleys were only here for 8 years, 1906 to 1914. So these are the bedrooms. The second and third floor are the bedrooms. The light fixtures in these two bedrooms are original, except for the lamps. John actually put those lamps together. I had found the lampshades and other lamps, and the figures are called Capodimonte. Excuse my pronunciation. Traditional around the turn of the century, so we found those in an estate sale that just happened to go with the one in the dining room. Bed crowns were a big thing, although we don't have mosquitoes in Butte. The netting is there in case we ever do. Yeah, this is the oldest piece in the house. It dates back to the late 1700s. We found the antique shop in Missoula. It has the rayonette design in the wood carvings and things like that were popular back then. So we call this the little girl's room in honor of the two little girls, the real little ones that were here at the time who grew up here, or who, were here for a few years. There again, we try to create elements based on the history of the house. The wallpaper is a neoclassical design, and the paintings and the things are there again, the bed crowns, the stencils, and the original light fixture. This is actually the second part of the master suite. The next room we go into will be a master suite. It has French doors leading into here. So this is probably, I would imagine this was Mary Kelley's room. She would have her bedroom and bathroom and that, and some of the girls would be down here, some would be upstairs. But I imagine this would be her resting area. So this is the master bedroom. And then you can see the French doors that would go into the sitting room, adjoining sitting room. The furnishing here, the wallpaper actually was here. Somebody had done the wallpaper before, again, a neoclassical design. The carpet came from an estate sale, so little finds along the way. The third floor of the house, this is where we spend a lot of our time. This is John's and I personal space, but it's also open to anybody who comes. We dedicated this area to our gallery. We've been to Central America a few times, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Mexico, and have gathered artifacts and things. Most of the paintings in the house are John's. Most of them are his. Some of them are from artists in Nicaragua and Guatemala, but various things that we've collected over time. Last but not least, this is the ballroom. Probably the biggest room in the house, although it's small for a ballroom. But it's very traditional. You'll find it in a lot of historic homes in Butte. They like to party. People like to party. And Mary being a musician and her girls being a musician, they were traditionally having parties and balls and entertaining quite a lot. We got out the stenciling and the paints. John made the soundboards that are traditional in a ballroom or a music room. So, like I say, they like to party. It was not unusual to have events here, parties, balls, music, whatever they could do, and then they would go out to the portico. First of all, what do you want? Do you want the modern conveniences, which many historic homes don't have? So you're looking at redoing bathrooms, you're looking at redoing kitchens, especially that. And like I say, maybe the wiring and the plumbing and the structural things, and then the painting. It depends on how much passion you have and how much work you want to put into it. Of course, you can always hire people to do that for you also. But really, in my opinion and John's opinion, it's the passion and the love of historic homes that drew us, especially to Butte. But it does take a lot of patience and a lot of work and a passion for that. So I see both sides of it. I see the use of a modern home. It's all done. You don't have to worry about the wiring and all that, and versus a historic home, which may be a little bit more work for you.